Very good morning, dear students. So, in the last lecture, we have seen the basics of animal cell culture, the definition of animal cell culture, then what is the basic principles which is laid for the construction of tissue culture laboratory. Then we have seen the most important equipments which is required for the tissue culture laboratory. Under that, we have seen laminar airflow, the types of laminar airflow, the basic principles of laminar airflow. Then we have seen CO2 incubator, basic principles and function of CO2 incubator. After that, we have seen inverted microscopes, the basic principle of that microscope. Then other equipments which is required in the animal cell culture like autoclave, micropipette, glasswares, and most important discoveries. In this lecture, we'll be seeing the primary culture, then what is secondary culture, then what are continuous lines, and what is passaging. So this is the beautiful slide, this is a beautiful diagram, and it explains everything. Like I said, animal cell culture, it is defined as isolation, the culturing of isolated cells in the artificial media, right? So we have whole system of equipments which is supporting the growth and division of those cells outside the organism. Then what is primary culture? So primary culture, here in this slide we'll be seeing this is an organ. Then from this organ, the first thing, like we have already discussed, the cells are isolated. Now cells are isolated by various ways, like the enzymatic, because enzymatic isolation, because we know the two cells are associated with each other through a linking of a protein. Okay, CAMs, cell adhesion molecules. So what these proteins are functioning for is to adhere these two cells. So these cells are getting attached with each other and remaining in that state because of those proteins. So what we do in that enzymatic isolation, we treat these cells with the enzymes, for example trypsin, for 1 minute or 2 minutes. So what this trypsin is essentially doing is it is acting on these proteins. Because of that, the cells which is in the tissue are now getting separated, because the protein which is responsible for connecting this is now degraded. Why? Because of action of trypsin. So that is example of enzymatic isolation. Then we have mechanical isolation. We have devices by which it produces a mechanical force, and because of this mechanical force, these proteins are getting broken down, and so cells are separated. So with the process, it depends what cell you want to isolate. So depending on that, you have to use an appropriate protocol. Now enzymatic or mechanical, you have separated the cells, and you have, after separation of cells, you have put it into the culture, and once you have put it into the culture, this is the graph of its division. So initially this is the concentration of cell, and this is time. So initially you will say the concentration is less, there is a standard seeding number, and so you have to, seeding means, see, this is a new culture where this is the media, you have to add an appropriate number of cells. So once you add that appropriate number of cells, that is called a seeding number. Initially, here you can see, once you add these cells which is excised from the organ into the culture, it will not start dividing immediately. This is also called as the lag phase. So What happens in lag phase? The cell will not start dividing immediately. Cell, because it is a completely new environment, and so cell will try to accommodate it. So cell will not divide here. We call it as lag phase. Then after completion of lag phase, this is called as log phase, where the cell divides continuously, logarithmic division. So here, after completion of lag phase, then it comes a log phase, and after completion of log phase, this is the phase where the cell divides continuously. And so here you can see, here number of cells are less, the number is exactly the number required for seeding. And then as it is having media is going to provide all the nutrients which is required for this cell to grow and divide. So in the course of time, the cell will grow and divide, and the confluent layer is formed. So it can be defined as 70% confluency, 80% confluency, 90% confluency, and 100% confluency. What happens in 100% confluency? The entire surface of this media will be occupied by cell. So that will happen in the log phase. Once the cell growth is achieved, then comes the stationary phase. So here the cell will not divide, the concentration of cell will not increase, but it will keep maintaining itself, and in the course of time, after completion of this stationary phase, it will start declining. Right? So this is how the life cycle is. So what is primary culture? When you excise the cell from the organ, you put it into the media, it will start dividing, and then once the confluency, 100% confluency is attained, what you will do? You will do a passaging. Passaging means you will take out a required number of cells. Look at this. This is called as a primary culture. This is your primary culture. So the cells are isolated from the organ, put it into the media and let it grow. When confluency is formed, this is called as primary culture. Primary culture. Now, once the confluent layer is formed, you have to do a passaging. This is sometimes also called as a passaging. So what we do in passaging is, as the in 100% confluency, so complete surface of this T25 flask is occupied by cells, and once the 100% confluency is achieved, this cell is having, all the cells is having character called as a contact inhibition. So once the 100% confluency is achieved, the cell will form a uniform monolayer and it will stop dividing. And at the same time, because cell has achieved this state, it will start accumulating the secondary metabolites which may be toxic for its further growth. Metabolic waste. So that is going to be toxic. And in that case, once the 100% confluency is achieved, then you have to take out the cells out of it and you have to seed it into the another culture. You have to put it into the another media. Now you have two cultures. Again, you have to do the passaging. Once the 100% confluency is achieved, you have to take out some cells and you have to put it into another, and then another, and then another. And this is called as secondary cell culture. This is a primary culture. Primary culture means directly excise from the organ and put it into media, allow it to grow to form 100% confluency. This is primary culture. When this 100% confluent culture, which is primary culture, is subcultured, then it becomes a secondary culture. The secondary culture will remain secondary culture because every cell is having finite life. So if you allow this to grow, put it into new media, the cell will not going to live in this process infinitely. Because the cells are mortal. After few passaging, the cell will die. It will not able to maintain. It will not able to maintain itself in this culture, even if you put it into the new culture, because the cells are mortal. Now, This is a primary culture. Now this is the secondary culture. Now you know what is passaging. Now what is continuous cell line is when you isolate the cell, you have primary culture. From the primary culture, you create a secondary culture. After creating secondary culture, what you do is you take out the cell and you try to transform that cell. Transform cells means maybe you fuse it with another cell, or you get deliberately infect the cells with viruses, and because of that the cell get transformed. In transformation, in simple language, you can say transform cell means cancer cell. So by various methods you can cause this cell to transform. You can cause the cell to be a cancerous cell. Now it is cancerous cell, but it is outside the body, and so you transform these cells into cancerous cell and you culture it into the media. So you can culture it. You can see the cell division continued up to indefinite division. In as far as primary culture and secondary culture is concerned, you cannot grow. It is having finite lifespan, finite division. Why? Because cell is mortal. So depend on the cell, you will have limited divisions, limited passaging or subculturing. It will not go for n number of time. But then if you perform some experiments which cause the cell to transform, which is there in the secondary culture, and you culture it into the media and the cell get transformed, then that cell can be cultured for n number of period. The very good example here is already given to you. Here you can see, I have already discussed here the HeLa cell lines. This is the HeLa cell lines. 1952, Gay established a continuous cell lines from the human cervical carcinoma known as HeLa. This is although he doesn't induce cancer into the cell, he isolated the cancerous cell itself, the human cervical cancer cell, from the lady called as Henrietta Lack in year 1952. So now it is 2020. Today the year is 2020. This year is 2020. So 1952 and 2020. How many years are there? Almost 60-70 years after the isolation, we have still culturing and performing various experiments on those HeLa cell lines, right? So what is my point here is, once the cell get transformed, then you can culture this cell for indefinite period of time and cell becomes immortal. So when cell becomes immortal and you are able to culture it for infinite period of time, then these are called as continuous cell lines, or even only the cell lines. Cell lines are the cells which are transformed and they are immortal. So you can culture it for the number of time. Here then we have two types of cultures. One is called as suspension culture and another is called as the adherent culture. So here on the left hand side you can see it is a HeLa cell line. Okay, the details is given here. The HeLa cell lines, the cervical cancer, like I said, cervical cancer cells, which is taken on the February 8, 1951 from Henrietta Lacks, 31-year-old African American woman. So this is the culture. This is the culture of a HeLa cell lines, inverted microscope image of HeLa cell lines. As the cervical cells, it is like epithelial cell, so they are getting associated, the epithelial sheet. So it is in the sheet. Okay, the cell basal membrane, and then these are the cells. So when you culture such type of cells into the media, these cells always get cultured into monolayers and they are getting adhered to the surface, and that's why such cell type or such culture is called as adherent culture. Adherent, where cell is adhered to particular surface. Okay, this is the surface of T25 flask. The examples of epithelial cell, which is example of adherent cell, so they are adhered to the surface. But then, on the contrary, the suspension culture, for example, or RBCs, the example is RBC. We know RBCs are the cells. Then besides RBC, the immune system cells are there. The immune system cells which never live their lives in the sheet form, because they are independent. Independent. They are not adhered or attached to any surface, like RBCs, various cells of immune system like B cell, T cells. They are in the circulation, and so because they are in the circulation, they are not adhered to particular surface. So when you culture such type of cells, here the example, look at this. This is an example of PBMC. That PBMC stands for the peripheral blood mononuclear cells, which are the cells of the immune system. As these cells of the immune systems are in the circulation, so these are the categories of cell. They will not form a uniform monolayer. They will be not associated with each other, but independent cells. So when such cells are cultured, it becomes a suspension culture. This is the adherent culture. Adherent culture means the cells, for example, epithelial cells, this is the epithelial shell sheet, because their nature is to adhere to particular surface. So when you culture it, it forms a uniform monolayer. When such culture is produced, we call it as adherent culture. When the RBCs, not exactly RBCs, when the WBCs, the B cells, T cells, when you culture, they are not associated, they are not adherent to anything, because the very nature is in circulation. So they are not getting adhered to anything, and such culture is called as a suspension culture. So this is example of suspension culture, and this is example of adherent culture. This is an example of HeLa cell lines, the cancer cell lines of Hendrich-Talix, and this is the human PBMC. So these are the two types of culture we can do. Now media. What is media? The media, look at this. When you isolate the cells, once the isolation is done, you put it into the media. Now media, what is the function of media? The media is essentially a liquid or semi-solid media comprising of amino acid, glucose, vitamins, inorganic salts, serum. Serum is optional, which is in turn a source of growth factors. Now why we add serum? Because serum, we add a bovine serum albumin. So this bovine serum albumin, it is having growth factors, it is having hormones, it is having enzyme like protease inhibitors, and it is having factors that is not known to us right now. So BSA, bovine serum albumin, is having the complete constitution of DNA is still not known to us. But we know when we add a BSA into the media, it results into the good growth. So some investigation results in the findings of the BSA, which is having growth factors. Growth factors stimulate the cell to divide. Then it is having hormones. So these hormones maintain the cell. It provides a particular physiological condition. It provides a particular physiological function. Then it is having enzymes. The examples of enzymes are like protease inhibitors. All this is functioning or catalyzing the cell growth and cell division, and for that reason we add a serum. So besides that, the serum is optional. It depends on what kind of cell you want to grow. We add a serum because serum is a source of n number of growth factors, some of which we still don't know. Besides this, the hormones are there which perform its physiological function. The enzyme which catalyzes the reactions, example is protease inhibitors, etc. We add it. And besides this, The culture media is having specific pH range with a specific physiological osmolarity which is similar to the physiological condition, because when you isolate a cell from the organism and you culture it in vitro, you have to provide all the things which is required by cell to grow and divide. So all those things with physiological condition like pH and even the osmolarity, because if you design a media which is not osmolaritically physiological to the cell, then it may cause the denaturation of protein and ultimately the cell will be in the stress and cell will not grow. So that is the reason you have to maintain the pH and osmolarity very similar to the conditions of a cell in its original place. So cell culture media, it may be liquid or semi-solid, but it is having amino acid, glucose, vitamins, inorganic salts, serum, and the growth factors, hormones, enzymes, etc., with balanced pH and osmolarity similar to the physiological condition of a cell. Right. So what cell requires for its growth? The cell requires the source of amino acids, right? Because amino acid is a building block of growth. Beside this, the cell requires energy. The energy is required by cell to carry out all its metabolic functions. So that energy is provided by carbohydrate, where more specifically the glucose. Then vitamins are required because enzyme, if you want the enzyme to work properly, the enzyme requires prosthetic group and cofactors. That is provided by the enzymes. Enzymes play a very important role in the metabolic reactions. Then besides this, we have micronutrients. Then we have balanced salt solution. Then we maintain a specific physiological pH. And besides this, we provide a growth factors, hormones and enzymes to the cell so that it can grow properly. So media contains all these ingredients. So that is the reason the media is a particular concentration, the standardized concentration of all these ingredients with a balanced pH and osmotic condition, so that when you put that cell into this media, the media will provide all the requirements. Media will fulfill all the requirements of a cell and it nurtures the cell. Right. Besides this, here you can see the culture media. The culture media, here we classify into two types, the artificial media and natural media. The natural media example, natural media which is naturally available, for example, biological fluids like plasma, which is from the blood, then serum, even the lymph clots, then amniotic fluid. These are examples of a biological fluid which can be used to culture a cell. Besides this, the tissue extracts. The second is tissue extracts like spleen extract, the bone marrow extract, bovine and chick embryo extracts. Third one is a coagulant, plasma clot, etc. So all this comes under the natural media because the source is natural. The plasma is there in the blood, the serum is there in the blood, the lymph is there, which is organic in origin, the amniotic fluid, which is organic in origin, the tissue extracts like chicken embryo, bovine, all this is naturally available, so they becomes an example of a natural media. Natural media we used, right? But besides natural media, we have artificial media also. For example, we have artificial media also. The examples of artificial media is a balanced salt solution like PBS, phosphate buffer saline, the saline solution, which maintains the specific pH and physiological osmolarity of a cell. So even you can maintain the cell if you take out the embryo from the egg and you just put that embryo into the buffer saline, the heart will continue to pump into buffer saline for some period of time. Basic PBS, basic phosphate buffer saline. If you no need for this media, if you don't want to maintain it for longer period of time, you just take out the embryo, just take out the heart and put that into the PBS. It will be there for some hours of duration. So PBS can also be used for, but it is just temporary. For prolonged period of culture, we need to have the media. So media can be divided into natural one, which is naturally available. For example, biological fluids, tissue extracts and clots. The example is plasma, serum, and the spleen, bone marrow, or chicken or bovine extracts, or the plasma clots, etc. The example of artificial media means one which is synthesized by human beings, which is not naturally available. The example is balanced salt solution. The fine example is the phosphate buffer saline solution. Besides this, this is further differentiated into serum containing media. The media which is the artificial media plus serum is equal to serum containing media, which is having serum. And because the serum is there, the complete ingredient is not known. The artificial media plus serum is equal to serum containing media. The serum containing media, the most important feature is it is unknown. The serum, we know, like I said, serum, we don't know the 100% ingredient of serum, but we know it supports the growth. So we add it. So serum containing media. Serum free media, similar. The artificial media which does not have serum, so it becomes a serum free media. Serum free media. Chemically defined. Now, in the course of time, the specialized research is done. Like I said, I have shown you this in the important developments. So here you can see here 1955. What Eagle did, Eagle is the name of scientist. What he did, he studied the specific nutrient requirement of a selected cells in the culture. So by trial and error method, he designed different types of medias. The known chemically defined media, we called it as a chemically defined media because complete concentration of that media is defined. We know the 100% ingredient of that media, and so we called it as a chemically defined media. So he designed various types of media and he see the growth of various cells, and so for that reason he first it is called as chemically defined media, because the media he has defined the optimum, which media is optimum for which cell because of its requirement is done by this Eagle, right? And so that is called as chemically defined media. So chemically defined media, it is a specific media which fulfills the requirement of specific cell. Here we have taken two examples, the Eagle's minimal essential media, which is short formed as EMEM, Eagle's minimum essential media, Eagle's. So the minimum, what is minimum requirement of a cell to carry out its life cycle? That minimum requirement is fulfilled in the EMEM. So what is minimum requirement? What is basic requirement of cell? That basic requirement is fulfilled in EMEM. Then we have DMEM. It is further modified. Dalbecko's modified Eagle's media, which is having the higher concentration of amino acid as compared to EMEM. So it supports a growth efficiently. So all these different medias that is designed in the course of time, the only objective is which media supports which cell growth effectively. On basis of that, we have classified it, and we have in the course of time modified it so that the appropriate growth will be carried out. So that is the media. And the last part is the application. Now, why we do cell culture? Like I said, the cell culture requires an expensive instrumentation, dedicated laboratory space, which is again an expensive business. Besides this, the cell culture laboratory is requiring chemicals, which is again very expensive. Even the water that we use in cell culture, it is expensive water, highly purified water. So all these expensive requirements are there. Expensive instrumentation and laboratory facility is required. What is the outcome of this? So here I will explain you few, and I will give you the homework of that. So one example is the drug discovery, cancer research, vaccine production, stem cell research. So imagine how you can use the cell culture, animal tissue culture, in order to identify the drug discovery. Suppose you have isolated some chemical, you have designed some chemical into your chemistry laboratory, or you have isolated some chemical from the plant from your botany laboratory, or some microbial metabolite from your microbiology department. So you have this chemical A and chemical B and chemical C, and all this you think it is effective. It can be effectively worked as a anti-cancerous drug. So for that you have to test it, because science requires a proof, and so you have to prove it that this chemical needs to be, you need to have associated proof. The chemical A, which is the chemical B, is a plant extract. The chemical A is the new chemical synthesized, and chemical C is metabolite, microbial metabolite. So these three different things you have isolated from different areas, and so you think these three chemicals as having anti-cancerous property, but then you cannot directly try it on cancer patient. First you have to prove it. In the science, everything needs to have proof. So what the best thing you can do is you can take a HeLa cell line. Like I said, it is a cervical cancer cell line. So you have a culture of HeLa cell lines, and then you will add this chemical A into it. Then you have similar experiment, you will have the chemical B added into it. The similar experiment, chemical C added into it. And then after that you will add different concentrations of chemical A here. So various experiments you will learn the different concentration of chemical A here, and you will see the effect of those chemicals on the growth of these HeLa cell lines. Similarly, different concentration of chemical B you will study. What is the optimum concentration? If it is really anti-cancerous, then what is the optimum concentration? Then similarly for the C, right? So here what you are studying is how this chemical is affecting the growth of cell. And suppose in the course of 2 to 3 days, this cell is this culture is achieving 100% of confluency, but then after adding chemical 1, it is not having any effect on this 100% confluency at 2 to 3 days. For B, the same result, no effect. And for C, you will have you will found, suppose you found that in the case of chemical C, the growth is not achieved 100%. Even after the 10th day, the growth is still 25%. So now a potential anti-cancer drug can be claimed here. So this chemical C can be. So what is my point here is, just say instead of, you cannot directly test these chemicals on the patient. Better directly to test this chemical on the experimental organism. First you need to check your hypothesis on running these experiments on the animal cell culture. This is how this animal cell culture plays a very important role in the drug discovery and cancer research. This is an example. This is one example which covers the drug discovery and cancer research also. Another example I would like to propose here is the CHO, Chinese hamster ovary cell lines. These cells, this Chinese hamster cells, they are the cells which is high in protein synthesis. So if they are in the state of protein synthesis as compared to normal cell, they are high in the state of protein synthesis. So when you insert a gene into it, the genes for the vaccine, you can harvest the vaccine production using this animal cell culture technology. Besides this, the stem cell research can be carried out, gene expression analysis can be done, in vitro fertilizations. All these technologies is using this animal cell culture as a basic. I hope you understand this. If you have any queries, please feel free to contact us. So your homework is the applications of animal cell culture or animal tissue culture. Thank you.